Good evening, everyone. Chief Meteorologist James Zahara here in the Storm Track 8 Weather Center. Glad you can join us on the News 8 Plus app. We're going to kind of break down the activity that we are expected to see overnight, but more importantly, as we go through the rest of the week. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more too about the upcoming weekend, as we are expected to see some cold conditions roll in. But before that cold comes in, another system that could produce either a rain-snow mix or maybe even some accumulating snow, okay? And we'll give reasons why one could be favoring the other in just a little bit. Let's talk about today. Of course, it was a very nice, mild day that we had around the area. Had some sun to work with. Good start to the week as we had widespread upper 40s for daytime highs. Even places like around Mount Pleasant getting as high as 52 degrees. A normal high for this time of year is around 32. So yeah, we are well above that. And we're going to keep those temperatures nice and mild as we make our way into the rest of the week as well. You can see visibility not looking all too bad, but that may change as we head toward the morning commute. Here's the reason why. We got this area of low pressure coming in, very weak disturbance moving in from west to east, but it's going to be strong enough now not only add more clouds, thicken and lower, but it's going to help saturate the air just enough too that we can't rule out some patchy drizzle before sunrise, and maybe even some of that patchy fog as well. And that's where it could get a bit dense across some of our hometowns. Want to go a little bit farther west because this is anticipated for later in the week. One weather system that we see off the California coast, this is guaranteed to produce some rain around here, widespread rain that will be developing later on Thursday, continue into about Thursday night before ending early Friday morning, and then waiting in the wings as you make your way to the northern Pacific, that disturbance. Now, it all depends on the track here, but we could be talking about either a rain-snow mix or the possibility, the potential there for even some accumulating snow. But of course, as we know, being so far out in the west coast there, around the northern Pacific, we have only so many variables that can determine what type of precipitation we can actually see, the strength of it, you name it. It has to get on land to really allow our land sensors to take over and really give us a good idea of what we could be expecting during that time period, but especially early Saturday morning is what we are checking out. Okay, so temperature-wise, not looking too bad. Numbers in the 30s, even some 40s. And I don't expect those temperatures to fall too much because we're going to be at least saturating that air later on tonight. You can see little green blips pop up just before sunrise. That's indicating some of that spotty drizzle that could be taking place in some of our hometowns. So that's why we're putting that in the forecast. But you also have to keep an eye on the visibility, or for some of our hometowns, as we head toward dawn tomorrow, the lack of visibility. And we always kind of get a good hint as to where that low visibility is going to be taking place just by those orange patches that we see there in southeastern Iowa, west central Illinois, heading toward Macomb, and then possibly some activity or at least some low visibility that we see north of the Quad Cities from near Dubuque, Stockton, and pushing his way outside of Rockford, Rochelle, and right toward the Chicagoland area. So that's kind of what we're seeing now. It doesn't look widespread, but patchy. We'll have to keep an eye on that for the morning commute. Nonetheless, that's why we have issued a weather impact alert for that visibility or lack thereof come tomorrow morning. So out and about tomorrow morning, make sure you're giving yourself plenty of distance between you and that car in front of you, especially if you're going to be out in the rural area. Overnight lows, though, here's the good news. We're not talking about any of that fog to freeze, mainly because our temperatures are expected to be around the mid to even upper 30s. So that is some good news going into the overnight hours. So we're just concerned about that patchy fog out there. Now heading into our Tuesday, as that drizzle kind of comes to an end and the fog lifts, well, we're kind of stuck in the clouds as we go throughout our Tuesday. At least that's what we're seeing on our future track. There is a little weak disturbance that may bring in some showers around 7 p.m. tomorrow evening, but right now we'll be kind of stressing all those clouds. And because of that, we're going to keep those temperatures in check. Still mild. I mean, we're still looking at low to mid 40s, but kind of trimming down those temperatures just a few degrees compared to what we enjoyed today. now let's extend this even more and make plans to be outdoors on Wednesday. This is by far your week's best because we got plenty of sunshine expected. Temperatures are going to be right around 50 degrees. As we head to Thursday, we bring back the clouds, and here's where we start bringing back some of that rain that will be coming in from the south and west. Temperature-wise, this will be your week's warmest, as we're looking at about 52. That rain coming on in will be pretty steady, especially on the Illinois side, as we head to about Thursday evening. And then the last of these raindrops will pretty much come to an end as we head to early Friday morning, leave behind mostly cloudy skies and temperatures around the upper 40s. Of course, we'll be keeping an eye on that rain-snow mix late Friday night, but it's really going to be rolling into about early Saturday morning for this to be taking place. Let's talk about this rain, and this looks really nice. Plentiful amount of rainfall expected with that forest green indicating at least a half an inch of rain, higher amounts off to our south and east. So hopefully we can get that soaked in the ground given the amount of rainfall that we're looking at. Once that rainmaker moves on by, then that next system coming right behind the main system, that's the one that we'll have to keep an eye on for the type of precipitation. A lot of uncertainty going on here with this system, but we just want to give you kind of a heads up on what we're looking at going in the early morning hours on Saturday. And you can see, we got that kind of a mix, but also maybe possibly changing over to some flakes as well. Likely not going to expect to see much when it comes to this particular model. This is a European model. So combine that with the fact that the ground is so warm, I don't expect to see any problems going into Saturday morning. But keep in mind, this is the European model. Now for snow lovers out there, you want to be rooting for the GFS or the American model, because the American model kind of has been going off and on. This is the first time I've seen some accumulating snow for this time period, early Saturday morning, since about 3 days ago, where we were seeing, once again, maybe some accumulating snow. Okay, so even our American model is not too sure the intensity, the amount of moisture going into maybe a cold environment to produce any accumulating snow. But if you are a snow lover, you're rooting for the GFS here because this may be talking about maybe 8 or 10 inches of snow, okay? But it depends on the track, it depends on the amount of moisture and the temperatures from the surface aloft. Once again, a lot of variables that are actually going in to this time period. So that is what we are going to pretty much be keeping an eye on, I would say next 24 hours or so. And then if we see consistency, then we very likely for early Saturday morning may put out a weather impact alert. But until then, we're going to keep it quiet for now, all right? Coming in on Tuesday morning, tomorrow, there's our weather impact alert for that patchy, possibly dense fog. And then we'll see those temperatures stay on the mild side. There's that next system coming in later on Thursday, ending early Friday morning. And then that rain-snow mix, or maybe all snow early on Saturday. Passage of that system, that's going to help chill those temperatures on Sunday. Slight rebound going into early next week with temperatures 30 or better for daytime highs, and that will likely extend even in the following weekend. The good news is, at least going into next week, everything is looking high and dry. So that is kind of what we're looking at here, especially as we make our way through this week and going into the weekend. Now, keep in mind, if we do happen to see visibilities really begin to drop, then we will certainly let you know on Good Morning Quad Cities. That begins at 4:30 with Andrew Stusky. He'll be able to start give you information on the latest visibility and, more importantly, give you a heads up for anyone that may be commuting come tomorrow morning as well. We'll also get an update with the new models that will be coming out regarding that system heading to the upcoming weekend. And for more weather information, go to our webpage, that is WQAD.com. Everyone have a good evening, and we'll talk to you later on News 8 at 10.